Well, we've asked you to submit your questions for Pat, and many of you have done that. We want to take some time to answer those questions right now. Pat, this first one is from Bob, who asks, will we know each other in heaven? If so, how can we face the ones we've hurt? I believe that God can forgive us, but Aunt Nellie, not so much.
If Aunt Nellie is in heaven, she's going to be so thrilled to be there that she's going to forget anything that happened. All the bad stuff in her life is going to be eclipsed with the joy of heaven. So don't worry about that. Now, the question is getting Aunt Nellie there. You want to make sure she's there.
Well, and if you've heard Aunt Nellie, she might have a pleasant surprise seeing you there. So.
Well, we're not going to hold grudges. There'll be no more tears, no more sorrow, no more dying. The former things are going to be passed away. All that's gone. Yes, you'll remember them, but only with joy and love, not with recriminations. Why would anybody who's in the joy of heaven, they're spiritual beings, they're like Jesus, why would they hold a grudge from something that some slight somebody said, Aunt Nellie, you're too fat? I mean, why would she care? Really? All right.
I don't know. I might hold a grudge on that one, but...
Terry. Go on.
Okay. Darla says, I'm 72. I don't take meds, and I eat fruits and take vitamins and minerals. I exercise, and I'm in good health. But I want a healthy mind to go with a healthy body. What's best for that?
Okay.
You asked, Darla. Here it comes.
All right. The biggest thing about a healthy mind is to make sure you've got your arteries and your blood vessels open. So if you don't have high blood pressure, that thing we were talking about, chocolate and fish oil, good quality fish oil. But if you write something down, phosphatidylserine complex.
Wow. Say that again slowly.
P-H-O-S, P-H-A-T-I-D-Y-L. Phosphatidylserine, S-E-R-I-N-E, complex. The other thing is vinpocetine. But if you can remember phosphatidylserine complex, it'll help your memory and help you.
And is that available over the counter?
Yeah,
What
sure.
is that? It's just a
Vitamin
tablet?
Vitamin store.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Well, Liz says, I want to start a college savings fund for my grandson who's about to turn 1. What are some good options for me?
Well, you ought to open up a tax-sheltered savings fund and then begin to put regular money in it and see if you can find things that pay interest, because you want to have a compounding effect. You just don't want the money to sit there. And so you want something that'll grow. And you know, I'm a great fan of stocks. I don't know too much on bonds, but there's some stocks. I've been pushing, and I'll continue to push what I call master limited partnerships. They don't pay taxes, and therefore the money they pay us out, you know, is taxable to the people who get it. But if you're in a tax-sheltered account, it won't hurt you. But those things can pay dividends, 12%, 8%, 7%. You know, it goes all the way up. All right.
Hey, this is Erin, who says, I've had a wonderful relationship with my girlfriend, but she and I have gone off to separate colleges. Can long-distance relationships work?
Now, this is a man with a girlfriend? Or...
They're going off to separate colleges, and they've really had a wonderful relationship, and he's wondering, can a long-distance relationship in separate colleges
They say
work?
Absence makes the heart grow fonder. It'll depend on how many young ladies you get hooked up with while you're in college. Yes, they can last if you really are in love, and they'll last. But the temptation to draw apart is very, very strong.
This is Jakira, who says, I'm 23 years old and I live in India. What's the right way to evangelize people of other religions? I've tried the direct approach, but they've gotten really offended and say I've disrespected them. I'm worried that I push them further away from Christ by trying to reach them.
Just enjoy Jesus. I've been over in India and spoken to Indians, and I mean, big crowds, and they were so willing to accept Jesus. You know, they need to fall in love with Jesus when they realize that there was somebody who took on flesh, that God Almighty, the God of the universe, took on flesh, lived among us, and he died on the cross, and then he rose again. This is so powerful, and Jesus himself is so much loving. You don't have to push somebody into that. You just say, I'm in love with Jesus. Let me tell you what he did for me. You know, he talks with me.
Well, she has an advantage, too, because she lives there, so she can really love them.
Of course.
On a regular
but,
basis.
I mean, people get offended if you try to say, well, look, you're a Hindu and you're stupid, and or you're a Muslim and you're stupid. That's not going to win anybody. But what you have to do is just say, listen, I'm in love with Jesus, and he has, let me tell you what he did for me. And last night he said, and he's coming again, but he died for me and for you. All right?
Okay, this is Christine, who says, I know there are parts of the Bible that are meant to be taken literally, and there are parts that are meant to be taken metaphorically. My question now is, how can I tell the difference between the two?
Well, you have to learn literature. I don't know. I say, how can you tell? Well, if somebody says his love is as deep as the ocean, for example, I mean, you know, that's a figure of speech. That's a metaphor, you know. Mm-hmm. Sure, it's as deep as the ocean, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you've got to go swimming. So, all right, what else?
Okay, this is Joe, who says, can our loved ones see us from heaven?
I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think we talk about, I think there are angels and demons that see us, but I don't think the loved ones.
Who are the cloud of witnesses then, do you think?
Well, we're surrounded by a cloud of witnesses of those who have lived for the faith, and they were witnesses to Jesus and witnesses to the goodness of God. And we're surrounded by that cloud of people, not witnessing us so much as witnessing the glory of the Lord. I mean, I think that would be the better interpretation. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay, this is Melissa, who says, my mother abused me when I was a child, and now she's emotionally abusive. I know we're supposed to honor our parents, but how do I do that when she has repeatedly hurt me?
You honor her because she is your mother. You give weight to her, the fact that she's the one who bore you. But if I were you, I'd stay away, as far away from her as you can, because it's just, you're asking for continued hurt, but that you never stop loving. And you just ask God to bless her as God is blessing you. So you begin to pray, Lord, bless my mother. Mm-hmm. And but don't expose yourself to that abuse over and over again. All right?
Well, that's all the time we have for your questions today. We want to thank you for taking the time to submit them, and I hope you'll do that again in the future when you'd like Pat to answer something.
Well, we'll try. I hope my answers are okay.